Hello, welcome to the Millionaire Woman Show, where we'll be discussing leadership, business, and human potential, inspiring you to live rich from the inside out. Unlock your creativity, stretch out of your comfort zone, break through your barriers, take inspired action, and achieve epic results. Now, here's your host, two-time best-selling author, speaker, and certified executive coach, Deborah Kasowski.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Millionaire Woman Show, where we talk about principles of leadership, business, and human potential to help you live rich from the inside out. So whether you're growing a business, climbing your career ladder, we have tidbits that are going to help you grow in so many areas of your life that you will feel the richness all around you. It's about abundance. And I have a very dear new friend of mine and special guest that I am excited to share with you. Teresa Spinelli was not destined to lead her family's grocery business, but life takes many turns, and the leader is what she became. Born in Edmonton in 1961, Teresa grew up at the Italian Center shop, taking her first steps in the pasta aisle. And by the age of 13, she was working in the store regularly as a cashier, never dreaming that she one day would ascend to the presidency of the company. In 1983, after successfully graduating from the University of Alberta with a psychology degree, her plan was to pursue social work, though admittedly realized social work wasn't for her after completing a work term. I realized I'd be a horrible social worker, she says, because I wanted to take care of everyone, take everyone home with me. Family misfortune changed the course of Teresa's life with the loss of her brother, followed with the passing of her father, Frank Spinelli, 3 years later. We were a traditional Italian family, and I had a brother, so automatically, because he was the boy, he was going to take the business. And in 2000, Teresa stepped in as president of the company temporarily, the company having 30 employees, a net worth of $9 million. Teresa believed that the Italian Center had the potential to be bigger and better. With her vision of changing the business from a local grocery store to a major importer and distributor, within a year, she grew the business to $12 million in sales. And today, the company has grown 8 times with 4 stores located in Edmonton and Calgary, 509 employees, sales of $64 million, married to Mike Newbury in 1999 and blessed with a son, Maissimo. In 2007, Teresa's business philosophy comes from her dad. The more you give, the more you get. Her passion is revitalizing the Macaulay community here in Edmonton, and with the Little Italy in Edmonton's downtown, volunteering for such organizations such as the Italian Chamber of Commerce, the Mayor's Task Force on Sustainable Communities, the Edmonton City Managers Advisory Committee. For Teresa, it's all about people, showing them that you love them with a hearty, bountiful meal. For me, it's not about selling salami. For me, it's about people. The reason I get up in the morning is because I want to grow people. Among her notable awards and 10 years running, Teresa has been one of Canada's top 100 women entrepreneurs as ranked by Profit Magazine, the People's Choice Business of the Year, and has received the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal in recognition for contributions to Canada. Please welcome none other than Teresa Spinelli to our show. So excited to have you here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Deborah. Thank you very, very much. I'm glad you consider me a friend, because I definitely consider you a friend.
Oh, absolutely. And recently we were at the Viva Italian Festival. And one of the things that stood out for me when you were sharing your story, and it was about when people build a wall, build a bigger table. And that has stood out for me. Like every time I think of when people are not getting along or there's differences, I think, we just got to build a bigger table and come to the table with us. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. So important. If God blesses you with more, you build a bigger table. You don't build a wall. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we often hear about the golden thread that lives through our lives to bring us to where we are. And, some of it was shared in your bio, but I am curious, what experiences have prepared you to be a successful business owner that you are today?
I think lots of life lessons. I mean, lots of mistakes made, and I hope to, and I like to say that I learned from each one of the mistakes. I still make mistakes, but I'm really open to making mistakes because it's okay to make a mistake as long as we learn from them. And that's how we learn. So I made some mistakes. I learned, looked back and started thinking, how could I have done that better? And started making those adjustments in my life. So that really, really made a difference.
So when it comes to the mindset piece, I know people are like, yeah, we can make mistake, but how do you bounce back from a mistake?
I really think that everything happens for a reason. So when a mistake happens, there's a reason. There's a lesson you have to learn, or a lesson you have to teach somebody else, or something. And I really believe being open to those possibilities happens all the time. Like you often hear when a door closes, a window opens. And so I really believe that. I think that things happen for a reason. So, sometimes my staff gets really mad at me because I don't get really upset about over some really important thing that happened that wasn't good for our business. And I said, well, if I get upset, it's not going to change the outcome. It's not going to make it better, but we'll just step back and see what we could have done better, and we move forward. Because if I focus on all those things, I don't think I'd be here today.
So how do you think your social work or psychology background has now helped you in your business?
I think really it's all about people, right? Psychology and social work is about people and really connecting with people and making them the best they can be. And I think that's what I try to do with my staff and my customers and myself, always working on being a better me and giving them the opportunities to grow. I don't think you can motivate an employee, but you can put them in an environment where they motivate themselves.
Yeah. So one of the things that you have, you not only grew a business, but you like to grow people. Tell us a little bit about what that means to you and how you do that.
So I think it's by empowering people. It's about giving people opportunities and giving them the right tools and setting them up for success. In the past, I've made lots of mistakes where I've put people in places really quickly, and it takes us a long time to move them out of those positions. And we're not doing a service by keeping people in positions that they're not thriving at, because everybody wants to make a difference. And if someone's not making a difference in a position, then it's time for them to move to a different position or find a different company. So really making sure we had the right people, not only the right people, but we had them in the right jobs. That was really, really important. So when we have a good employee, but they're not thriving in that position, then we talk to them to see if there's a better position in the store that they should be at.
Yeah. And what I really admire is that you're looking at what is their skill set? Is there somewhere else where they could be thriving within the company before we tell them maybe they need a different company?
Absolutely. And that happens so often. I was just talking about this morning. We had a young man who worked in our cafe who said, I don't like people. That was his thing. I don't really get on. Well, that's not a good place to be in the cafe then. And it just wasn't working. So we moved him to a different section with a different leader, and that type of leader had this guy flourish. Just depends, right? Depends. People are all different. They learn different ways. So it's getting finding that right mix. So now he's thriving. He's still with us. Where really, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I would have thought he'd been gone, but he's still there. He's happy. He loves what he does. And he's definitely making a difference. Very smart young man.
Yeah. And when you put people where they belong in a place that they can thrive, that only helps your business grow as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I heard this really great analogy from a company that we'd hired to help us. And their analogy was, if you have a pond and all the fish in the pond die, do you blame the fish? Well, for 50 years at the Italian Center Shop, we always blamed the fish. We'd get rid of the fish and bring new fish in. They would die, and we'd say, stupid fish, and get new fish. And then we started stepping back and saying, okay, what is it about the pond? What is it about the Italian Center Shop? What is it about our culture? What is it about me that's not making this fish swim with the other fish? Because everybody comes to work to do a good job. Everybody, and everybody wants to make a difference.
Yeah. That's a powerful analogy. I've never heard that one before.
I know, I love it.
Yeah. And it's about creating that culture, that center where people thrive and they grow and, bring their own family members to end up even working for you.
Absolutely. Yes, we have brothers and sisters, mothers and daughters, husbands and wives. Yeah. Lots of families that work together with us.
Excellent. So just curious, because they say success leaves clues. Do you have a morning routine or a routine that keeps you really focused?
I'm sorry, you cut out on that, Deborah. I didn't hear you. Success
leaves clues. And people tend, they say that people have the clues to success are part of their habits and their routines. Do you have a morning routine or a routine that keeps you focused?
I'm working on a morning routine. I really don't have one because I have a crazy life. My mom is very ill. I have a 10-year-old. We just got a dog, all that kind of stuff. But what I what I try to do every morning is after I'm up and, before I get to work, I sit down in front of my steps and I just relax and take a moment to think about the day and what I expect from the day. And I thank God for giving me an opportunity to make a difference that day. And that's really changed my life.
Yeah. So one of the things that is really, you're starting your day with intention.
With intention and gratitude.
Yeah. That's very powerful. It can shift whatever mood you could be in as soon as you're looking at the gratitude piece. So who is your hero?
Absolutely. Very much so.
Who is your hero?
You know what? I get asked that question. I get asked that question a lot. And, I guess it depends on what you define as hero. Because I can't think of really a hero. I know lots of people I consider heroes. I had like a great uncle that my dad was named after that died shortly after World War I because he was bit by a wolf who was running around in our town trying to bite people. And he got bit by the wolf and ended up dying. And I thought he was a hero because not only did he win gold medals in the war, but then when he came home, he put his life at risk to save the townspeople. And then I think, well, all our veterans are heroes because they put their lives on the line for us. So there's those kind of heroes. There's so many people that I admire, like so many. I don't know that I consider them heroes, but definitely mentors and just really pretty amazing people. So that's what I think of as heroes, just people that really live their life to the fullest.
Yeah. What is one of the greatest lessons that you feel that one of your mentors have shared with you?
Sorry, Deborah, you cut out again.
That's okay. What is one of the greatest lessons you have learned from a mentor?
One of the greatest lessons. I think one of the lessons that I learned was to really follow your instincts, to really follow your gut. It took me a long time to trust my gut and my intuition. We all have intuition and we all kind of just say, oh, whatever. But really, every time I follow my gut, even if it does go wrong, then I have no one to blame but myself. So I think that's one of the really great life lessons, that really, really trust your heart.
Yeah, because it will lead you, even if you feel it was off course. There is some truth in it.
Absolutely. A lesson that we had to learn for sure.
Yeah. What are the top 3 skills do you feel that a business owner needs to have to be a good leader?
I think that you really need to listen. You have to really be listening with an open mind, though, not just listening to listen, but really listening to hear really what they're trying to say to you. I think you have to be able to empower people, like to really trust that they're going to do the best job for you. A willingness to learn, like I'm always learning new things. We have lots of great things that happen in the Italian Center Shop. Most of the ideas came from my staff, not from me. They had the bright ideas because, I work in the office. They're the ones doing the job every day. They're the ones that came up with the really, really great ideas. So it's about listening, willing to embrace those ideas, and empowering people.
Yeah. And all too often, I think of some of the business leaders that I've spoken with, they really realize that you need to tap into your people, because that's where the solutions and some of the results that you're looking for are going to come from, right from that space.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about people, for sure. You have to have really good people. I couldn't have done what I did if it wasn't for my team. I get the credit and the glory, but really having the vision is easy. The hard work is making that vision come to life, and they've been really fabulous at it.
Yeah. One thing I know for sure, Teresa, is that you are a role model for many in our community. And what resources do you feel that women should be tapping into to grow their business?
There's so many opportunities, I think, for women nowadays. There's obviously lots of women's groups, but I also think women should join other business groups that involve men, because, we're all the same, right? Whether you're a woman in a business, your issues are the same. Women sometimes have more struggles in certain areas, but there's so many business groups, network groups that are available for women. There's lots of online stuff. There's lots of things like AWE that offers courses, or the Business Link that offers courses on things that you need help with. There's lots of opportunity out there if you really want to learn, but it's not, you have to seek them out. It's not that they're readily available. They're not going to knock on your door. You have to go looking for them.
Yeah. And one of the things that, and when you say that, is it's about having a plan, having that intention, and really going after what it is you want and looking for those opportunities to be in those networking situations.
Absolutely. And sometimes you have to do a lot of things that aren't exactly, you go to one networking group and it's just not your cup of tea. Well, you have to go to a lot of them until you find the right one for you, because they're all different. But you can't go to one and say, oh, no, it's not for me. You got to keep working at it.
Yeah. Go more than once, for sure.
Absolutely.
So more and more women are starting up businesses. How do you manage to juggle and run a business as well as have those family obligations?
That's really tough. I think it's tough for everybody. I don't think there's such a thing as balance. I really don't. Sometimes I work too much and sometimes I'm at home too much. For me, it's, if I'm not at home to put my kid to bed at night, I want to be there the next morning to bring him to school. That's balance for me. Everybody has to find what works for them and never beat yourself up. Like, I've never missed a recital. I've never missed a hockey game, a soccer game ever. And my business has never suffered for it. So you have to really keep that in mind, that just because you take a night off or a day off because your kid is sick, nothing's going to fall apart. It's still going to be there for you tomorrow.
Yeah. And that takes a lot of trust. That takes trust in your people.
It takes a lot of trust, a lot of faith in God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. But for sure, you have to really know that there's something bigger than us out there.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think faith is what leads us in so many, especially the challenging situations that we face as business owners. Those challenging situations come up, and it's about thinking about how can I do this, and trusting and having the faith that everything's going to work out on the other side.
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with competition?
Yes, really good questions. So I think you have to know what your competition's doing, but you never focus on what your competition's doing. Like, know where they are, what they're doing, but then really focus on what you do best and move forward in your life. You can't worry about what they're doing, but you have to really do what you do best. So like I said, I'm aware of what my competition is and who's out there, but really I have my team focus on what we do best.
Yeah. And that's what will make you naturally stand out in a marketplace.
Totally.
Because
Absolutely.
if you're trying to do exactly what everybody else is doing, you just become like everybody else.
Absolutely. I think we always try to be trendsetters. So we always want to be a step ahead. So we're always looking for new opportunities. What can we do different? Because, at one point, the Italian center shop was the only place you can buy a panettone, which is a Christmas cake. Well, now everybody sells panettone. Costco, Armanavy, I mean, you name it, everybody has it. So what makes us different? People don't come to us because they can get a product only at our store. That used to be the case, but now we're very global. So they come to us for lots of other reasons, because we are a gathering place, because we interact with our customers, because, it's just a different feeling, right? So that's what we try to stay ahead of the trends.
Yeah. So employee engagement and customer service are drivers behind the success of a business. What are your greatest learnings about engaging your employees and providing excellent customer service?
Oh, another good question. So, like I said, I don't think you can motivate an employee, but you can give them an environment where they'll motivate themselves. We're very much a bottom-up organization, so we don't have titles. We don't really have a structure. Everybody is equal in our company. Again, we really listen. We really, really listen to our employees. I think it's important that we empower people. And like I said, everybody wants to make a difference. Everybody. So you have to always point out those people and let them know that they've made a difference. So you also have to learn what motivates people, because some people want a pat on the back. Some people want recognition in front of everybody. Some people want it privately. So you got to find what motivates your employees. And if you're a good leader, then you'll know instinctively what works for them. And if I can create more leaders in the process, then I know I'm doing my job.
Absolutely. Because that intrinsic motivation, there's nothing like it.
Right.
And as you said, everybody goes with the intention of wanting to do well. You don't go to work one day and say, well, I'm going there to make sure I make everybody miserable. That's not people's intent. Their intent is to really have a place where they can make a difference and have a meaningful experience.
Absolutely, for sure.
So how do entrepreneurs hold themselves back from achieving the success that they want?
Oh, I think that they hold on too much to it. So I find a lot of entrepreneurs do a lot of things, like too many things in their business. So, even when I first started taking over, I was cashier, I was cutting salami, I was, doing whatever I had to do to keep the store running. So I never really had time to step back and grow my business. If you want to grow your business, you have to step back. You can't be in the daily, day-to-day stuff. So I had to stop, writing payroll. I had to stop a lot of things in order for me to give me time to just breathe and go, okay, what's the next step? So I think a lot of entrepreneurs want to do it all, first of all, because we seem to think that we know best, so we want to do it our way, the right way, the first time.
Yeah.
And then we're not comfortable enough empowering other people. But you can't grow your business if you don't do that. If you don't allow other people to step up and you can step back, it's never going to happen.
I think that's a hard thing because people think, this is my baby. I built it. I don't want anybody to screw it up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, me too. Right now it's our wine grape season, which is a very, very busy season for us. And usually I work 12-hour days for grapes always. And I stepped away. And so when I called to check in, because I trust my team, they did something different than I would do. I went, oh, why'd you do that? But I went, okay, good move. Be okay with it because it's done now. I can't change it. And I'm sure it's going to be fine. I know it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Even me, after all these years, I'm still trying to learn that lesson. So it's just being okay with it.
And the reason I'm laughing is the other day I came home and my husband had made chicken with shake and bake, and he didn't do it the way I do it. And I'm like, what's wrong with the chicken? He goes, what are you talking about? I shake and baked it. And I'm like, it's just not the way I've done it. And all of a sudden he's like, I never do anything right. And I'm like, no, it's going to be fine. And it's a good example of what you just shared of learning to say, it's just different. It's okay. And it's still going to, and it turned out great. It was great.
Absolutely.
But in the moment, he wasn't too happy.
I bet. Been there many, many times.
Yeah. So I know that you are very focused on community involvement. And why is being involved in your community so important to your business?
I think that my dad was very successful because he was such a generous man to our community. And the more he gave, the more he got back. And he taught us that lesson. The more you give, the more the universe gives you. So you obviously never give wanting return back because that doesn't work. But when you really give from your heart, just magical things happen. So, for example, we had the park across the street in the Little where all the swings had been pulling out. So I called the city and say, hey, when are you going to put the swings back in? The city said, oh, we don't do that anymore. You have to do a fundraising activity with your neighbors, and then we'll match the money you guys raise. I thought, okay, wow. So I called my neighbors to get together to do this. And every time that I was interviewed about the park, it would say Teresa Spinelli, president of the Italian Center Shop. Well, Italian Center Shop had nothing to do with the park. It was me on my own time trying to raise funds for the park. But every single solitary time they wrote an article about the park, it would be Teresa Spinelli, president of the Italian Center Shop. That gave a lot of exposure to my company and to me. And really, nothing to do with the Italian Center Shop, except for the fact that it's across the street from the Italian Center Shop. But that really was great. That was my first lesson of, wow, the more I do for the community, the more I get back. So it's been a really, really great life lesson. And even today, like my dad died in 2000, I still have people coming to me every day. Even here today in Calgary, somebody told me how my dad helped their family. So the more you give, the more you get, for sure.
Oh, how special is that? What a legacy.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much, Teresa. I know you have a busy day, and I am excited because right after this, I'm going to hop in the car and I'm actually going to come see you in person.
Fantastic.
And, how can people stay in touch with you or learn more about the Italian Center Shop?
So I'm pretty accessible. If you go on our website, theitaliancentershop.ca, you'll find my contact information. If you ask any of my cashiers, they have my business card with my cell on it. I'm pretty accessible. I am always around, more than happy to buy anybody a cappuccino and have a chat.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being on the show, Teresa. And
well, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Everyone, that's a wrap for the Millionaire Woman Show. Again, it's using these principles of leadership, business, and human potential, finding out, is there something that's holding you back from being more productive, having better performance, or really achieving the success that you want? It comes down to some of the habits that might be in place, mindset, some of the things that we take so much for granted. It might even be shake and bake chicken, or just, letting go of some of that control. So if you want to let us know what you thought of this podcast, please drop me a line at Deborah@DeborahKazowski.com. Let us know how I'll give the feedback to Teresa as well, how this podcast has influenced you and made a difference in your life. Also, you can go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star high five, write us a review, and share this with your colleagues, your family, your friends, because you never know what piece of information could be that one trigger of changing everybody's world. So, Teresa, one last thing I was going to ask you for our listeners or our viewers here, what would be one last piece of advice you would like to leave for everyone today?
Make sure that what you're doing is something that you love. Make sure that you absolutely love it, because if you don't love it, it's going to be a really tough go. And if you add passion is like the gas in your car. It'll get you very, very far.
Excellent. Thank you so much again, Teresa.
Thank you, Deborah. Thanks for the opportunity.
As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And my wish for you is to go out and make today great. Thanks, everyone. See you on the next podcast.